like here we are.
Trying to be here. I'm a little frazzled today.
I know. It's like, wait a minute. It's like we had a holiday, but we didn't. Do you feel that way on Easter or no?
No, I was just busy. I was catching up on stuff because I've been traveling and then doggy sitting, and so I've been like a little bit on the busy side. So trying to catch up with laundry and other personal things like that. That's been a little crazy.
Yeah. So I mean, it's the day after Easter, and as we record this podcast today, and that's why we actually titled it "Leftover Ham." I actually think I titled it "Leftover Easter Ham," which I don't know how many of you guys do ham on Easter. It's just one of those things that I love doing, throwing in the smoker. It doesn't take a lot of work to throw it in the smoker and get some flavor out of it, and do it. And then it gives us something to pick at when you do a whole ham. It gives us something to pick at for a couple days, usually a week or so, right? And then because we started getting the bone-in ham, well, I don't cut it really close to the bone, and then she cooks that bone in a like a split pea soup.
Oh, I was going to say split pea soup. Yeah.
Yep, and then you shave all the rest of the stuff off the bone into the soup. Yeah, but you let the bone cook into the soup, so it makes it really good. So I left a lot. Shall I say I left a lot of meat on the bone?
Yeah.
Just
nothing wrong with
that. But I did some smoking of my ham. All right, I've got some good little pieces here. I created a nice glaze before I did it. I smoked it with hickory.
Oh.
Hickory wood and cherry wood. My glaze was made up of brown sugar, a little bit of like what do they call it? Like the orange zest.
Okay.
All right, some sugar, some salt, and then I put it all together with water and brought it to a boil. And dissolved and made a sauce out. Usually I would add maple, but I didn't this time. But then after I got that down and boiled, as I bring it back down, I added a shot of bourbon to it.
Oh.
And then boiled it back up again. And then I poured it over. I poured it over in the beginning and let it cook onto it. Usually I wait till about the last 45 minutes and pour that glaze over it then. Okay. I didn't this time, and this time I actually did it from the beginning, and then I went back out, pasted the juice up on top of it. So,
did you like it better this way?
I'm not tasting I'm not tasting anything that would be like a significant. Oh my God, I made a great difference to it. You know what I mean? Doing it. So I just got pieces of it here. It's a spiral cut ham, so basically I pretty much cut it off the bone. And then the spiral pieces, you pick them apart as you need them. Okay. There was two ways I was going to do it on tonight's show. One, I was just going to pick off some pieces of it and eat it. Pour a little bit of wine I've got. And the other one is I brought me a bun, hamburger bun. I'm going to put it on a hamburger bun, add some mustard to it, and make it a sandwich. Because that's one of the things I love doing with this is making sandwiches.
Yes.
What do you got?
That's a great thing and I thought about that because I have tomatoes, I have lettuce, I have avocado, I have my bread, and I was thinking of just making a sandwich. But I said to my neighbor, chef, he's at Taylor Street Tavern and is the chef there, but works for Urban Restaurant Group. So there's a multitude of different restaurants that are a part of it. And so I knew that there would be a brunch. And so I said, hey, can you please bring me back some ham? Well, he did me one better. He brought me back some shrimp with dill sauce. And he also brought me back not just ham, but look at that beauty.
Oh, look at that piece, baby.
Look at that.
Still got some fat on the outside, yeah.
Yes. So this is what they were carving at the carve station. So what I did was that I was going to originally make a cubanissimo, or a Cuban sandwich, which I am making right now. Ooh, I think it's ready. I think it's mad at me. Let's see. I didn't overdo it. Oh, I did. That's okay. So Cuban sandwich usually uses a different bread, but I didn't have it, so I used the dark bread that I had. I picked up some pulled pork, and I added the ham in here, the cheese, pickles that I sliced up, my little baby dills, Nallie's baby dills. So I cut these up, put them in there. There's mustard in there. There's mayo in there. I'm gonna cut this into make it look kind of prettier. You can cut it into pieces. So I only did one slice of the bread. But the other thing that I did that you can do is make it into sliders.
Yeah.
So this has caramelized onions. There's mayo at the bottom, then the ham, Swiss cheese. It called for honey mustard. I used Dijon, and then the caramelized onions. For the topping of the Hawaiian rolls, it was butter, Worcestershire sauce. It called for poppy seeds. I didn't have poppy seeds, but what I did have was my everything bagel. So I put everything bagel in there, garlic, a little bit of salt, and then I brushed it on top. So this can be, it was for like a big tray. I only did the 4, but I thought this would be a good one. So a couple of different ways to do your ham sandwiches. And then I thought, well, since I only did a split last week, I didn't have leftover wine. So then I was thinking, do I get a Pinot Noir? But then I realized what I had that was part of a gift that I got from Stoller Wine last year when we did an event with my networking group. I said, I want the wine. I want the wine. I ended up with the wine. So one of the bottles, I ended up throwing it in the freezer like 15 to 20 minutes ago, is Chehalem's Pinot Noir Rosé.
Yeah.
So Chehalem and Stoller are one and the same. So this one, and yes, it is a twist top, but you know what? Their wines are so good. They have a special for nonprofits. So Rotary, we're doing our Heart of Gold on Saturday, and so they gave us wine at a discounted price so that we can give that to our guests. So we're going to have the Pinot Noir Rosé will be there on Saturday, along with the Chardonnay, as well as 2 different types of Pinot Noirs. See that, Robert? One of them will be the Willamette Pinot Noir, and the other one will be a Pinot Noir or a Pinot for purpose. So I thought that would be cool. But look at the beautiful color on that. And I decided to use my fun glass that it doesn't, it's, oops, making a mess.
Air out by moving it. It helps air out the wine better.
Yeah. And of course, don't spill it. I just washed all my napkins, and so they're now all full of. So this is for today. Is now the other thing about Chehalem, I will have to say, this was so cool. So I'm going to get a picture here. That's my. So when my mama was alive, of course, I would take her everywhere with me, and I took her to Chehalem, and I hadn't been to Chehalem in a while. Well, I went back because they're part of Stoller, and we were having a 1-to-1. And one of the wait staff, I looked at him and I go, he looks familiar. And he looked at me and he says, you look familiar. And I said, yeah, but we're not. And then a little while later, he comes back and he says, did you have your mom, like a tiny little thing? And I go, oh my goodness, you remember my mom? And he goes, yeah. He goes, we were at told me the location of the, mind you, this is a different location where if I had seen him at the other location, it would have dawned on me, but it didn't dawn on me. And he said, yeah, I moved her. He goes, from here to, he goes, I helped you with her. And I was like, oh my goodness, you remembered my mom. Mind you, at this point, it had been 10 years since he had last seen my mom. He remembered her. Then in the process, when I was checking out, because I got a couple of bottles of wine after, had some food and some wine, I was going to take a bottle. He found me, remembered me. He goes, yeah, you were a club member at the time. When somebody remembers you 10 years later and remembers details like that, I was like, that was so sweet. That was so sweet. But that's the type of people that work at Stoller and Shahala. Even though it looks like Chahalan, it's Shahala.
Yeah.
So very specific. But I will say that this was that was a surprise. So when I got this, I was like, well, Shahalam is like special to me. And then my little
I opened up my a favorite. See, I look for old vine Zens.
oh yeah.
And when the day I got the last week, what I had last week, and I haven't actually have it on the kitchen table. I could have brought it in, but this was next to it. This is called Wild Thing, an old vine Zen.
Okay.
And I'm like,
I think I want that.
I always look for old vine Zens, but my favorite old vine Zens come from Central Coast.
Okay.
All right. Those are my favorite ones, Central Coast Old Vine Zens. So I'm always looking for them.
I remember getting one some time back. So. Yeah.
And I usually look for odd year ones too. Usually, to me, the odd year ones in the Central Coast taste better.
Really? Okay.
So but it's all, but it's usually probably because of weather, because it's the weather affects the flavor of the grape.
I need a napkin.
So
Like one I can wad up.
And usually I will nibble on this ham after I cook it for a week. It's my lunch for a week.
Okay.
I did not have it for lunch today. Instead, I had the leftover sausage I put on the grill at the last moment, because I wanted to save tonight to talk about the ham and taste it again. I mean, it's a whole different experience. And usually when I cook it, so I cook it, and usually because I taste everything as I'm bringing it in, when we all sit down for dinner, I don't have a big enough piece of it like everybody else does, because I've been tasting it, tweaking, tasting, and I don't have that big of a stomach. I'm a pretty skinny guy, as most of you know. So it's always the second day how good it tastes. So I wanted to make sure I got that today in two different formats. So I made a sandwich out of it. So I just got a bunch of just scrap pieces in there with some mustard on a hamburger bun. All right. And then I actually have some slices down here that I'm just nibbling on, cutting a piece off and nibbling on, cut a piece off and nibbling on. And probably would have went better with Pinot Noir. Would have went better with the sweet. So yesterday we had it with sparkling, or with a rosé, and a brut, bubbly, both from Texas. Went better with that than it does this. So I'll bet your rosé probably goes better with ham.
This is going very well. I'm gonna throw it back in the fridge this time, not the freezer, because I don't want to forget it in there. But it's gonna go right here. It goes very well. So the Cubano, even though it's not on it should be like more like a roll, and then you put the weight on it so that it gets squished. That's why all of them are a little bit on the flatter side. I love the flavor, the savoriness, because I put a little bit more mustard on here. I went light on this one, but I put a little bit more mustard here. The mustard and the pickles, and there's pulled pork in here too. Forgot to mention, I was going to get a Jack Daniel's honey pulled pork, Tennessee honey. It looked really good, but I thought, you know what? I don't know that sweetness was going to go well. And thinking I was going to go with the Pinot Noir, I thought it was going to clash. So I just went with the plain pulled pork, because then I can always add whatever I want to it later. So that tasted very, very well, and it went well with the wine. This one, those caramelized onions, oh my goodness, they're very, very good. The Swiss cheese went well, and I'm glad I used the Dijon mustard versus the honey mustard. I think the honey mustard would have just added a different flavor that may not have gone as well with the wine. Yeah. But the rosé, and this is a rosé of Pinot Noir, and it's tasting pretty good.
I'm betting a honey mustard, because I have a ground mustard and I have a yellow, and I'm betting that the honey mustard would go better with it, but again, it wouldn't go well with the wine.
Mm.
And I'm betting honey mustard, because if you think about what you just talked about, like your honey jack, honey goes very well with whiskeys and bourbons. And I'm betting if we had a honey mustard, you probably want to have it with either a bourbon, maybe a scotch, but more than likely a bourbon, all right, or a whiskey. So
this one has a little bit more of a sweet to it because of the Hawaiian rolls. So I can see where they were going with the honey mustard to just add to it. But definitely, I think that would have been more of a whiskey flavor palette. This one is a little bit more savory.
But here's the other thing is, what kind of breads would you make a sandwich out of it, your leftover ham? Let's talk about all the combinations we can make it out of, because personally, like I've got everything bagels here. I've got sourdough English muffins, which I love. I mean, to me, that English muffin would probably be a great. Well, let's even spice it up better. Heat that ham up in a pan.
No,
scramble me an egg.
I was going to say with an egg. It's almost like a McMuffin.
Put an egg on that baby and make an egg and ham sandwich. Yeah. All right. Well, now we're going to talk breakfast foods. All right. We did it with the English muffin, or we did it with a bagel. What if we did it with a croissant? Now you got the fluffiness, the lightness, all right, mixed in with your ham, depending on where your flavor is coming from. And now you take that egg and put it in it too. But now, I don't know if I want to have it with a wine, maybe a mimosa. So you put egg into it. Now I want a mimosa. Right. You see what I mean? Yeah. I'm starting to think brunch.
Or a Bellini?
Huh?
A Bellini?
Or a Bellini, yeah. But I don't know as I'd want it with just a regular champagne or a regular bubbly. I would want to have it probably with a mimosa or a Bellini.
Yeah. No, that makes absolute sense. But yeah, ham is always, I love making. I would make that. I would buy the, if I have fresh ham like this, I would make it anyway, but I usually would get the Canadian bacon with the egg and on a muffin. And I did look at the croissants when I was at the store today, grabbing the rolls, and I went, nope, do not. It's like, I don't eat that much bread. So I was like, it's just going to sit there. Who are you going to give it to? So I did not get the croissants, but I did eye them. I went, I'm going to go this direction.
Well,
these are pretty good.
I always have, those are my three breads that I almost always have in the house. I don't have the croissants, but and it's because I will make a sandwich out of any one of them, right? Or hamburger buns almost all the time, because I'm always going to make hamburgers or hot dogs. Like I've had hot dogs, so I have hot dog buns, or even I'll throw my hot dog bun in the sausage. But anyway, I had a very interesting ham a couple weeks ago. One of the things that we like to go visit on a regular basis is a Waffle House here in town. And we go to a Waffle House. They're going to open a new one up near us in 2 weeks, and we're looking forward to it. One's over here in Denton. We go over there, and they were running a special just 2 weeks ago. I think we were over there on a Saturday morning, and they had instead of the regular breakfast I get, instead of the bacon or sausage, they had an option to do a piece of ham.
Okay, yeah.
All right, and it was about the width of this, so it was not a thick piece, right? But it had a piece of bone into it, and they basically fried it. It was too salty. In other words, they way too much salt onto it, but it went good with the breakfast.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So it was a great combination. It wasn't something I usually would have. I very rarely have a slice of ham with my breakfast. So,
I have done that at Black Bear, where I get one egg, slice of ham, the potatoes. There's various ways you can do it. That's what I love about the Black Bear. You can customize your breakfast. You can go with either a muffin. You can go with their biscuit. Oh my goodness, the biscuit's like as big as your head. You can do bread. You can do potatoes. So you get to choose. But I love because they give you a slice, that's probably about that big. But, it's a good size, the thickness of it. And so it looks small, but it's thick enough. And then you get your egg however you want it. I usually get mine poached, sometimes over medium. And it's a good enough size breakfast because when you go to the Black Bear, you're getting like tons of food.
Yeah.
I mean, that's food you can share. And it's like, whenever I take anybody, I'm like, if you want to split, I said, I will split it. And sometimes like, no, you can get your own. And then when they get it, they're like, there's a lot of food. I'm like, yes, it is. That's why I offered.
Yeah.
But this Shahalam wine is very yum. I really enjoyed it.
So my sandwich, because I had the mustard on, is what made it great, but it doesn't go with the wine.
Oh, okay. Is it because the wine is a little too sweet, or is it because the mustard gives it a little bit too much acidity in there?
Acidity from the mustard. Exactly the problem. So I take an extra bite of the ham outside the sandwich, and then I have my wine. Because this is a good wine that I would drink all by itself. I can't wait for Gwen to get home and let her have some of this wine. Try it out. Usually, I would be drinking this with a good piece of steak or something. So,
right. So I ended up picking up Curly's sauceless pulled pork.
Yeah. Okay.
One of my friends is going to be making pulled pork on Sunday, but I'm like, but I need it now, and so I picked it up and. Again, I decided to go with the sauceless one because I can do whatever I want with it. And this ham with the pulled pork and that pickles, oh my goodness, it's very yummy. I was reading, and you could upscale it by adding some grilled onions to it. So that is an option. And I added, instead of, because I ran out of Swiss cheese, I just added cheddar cheese in there. The cheddar cheese went well because it's a sharp cheddar cheese. It's from Sargento's. So, because it was on sale over Tillamook, otherwise I probably would have gone with the Tillamook. But that actually went well. It usually, a Cubanissimo usually goes, it calls for Swiss. And I actually, I'm glad I used the bread that I used. It's what I have, which is a dark, it's another local company, Franz. It's a sweet dark. And it's, the brand is Fran, which is local to Oregon too. So,
yeah.
You know, sometimes it's, you know, buy local. Well, not sometimes. I'm always buy local, y'all. I try to. But something different.
Think of how much healthier we'd be if we bought local.
Right. And this is something I would never have tried before. I would not have made this combination. And I found that comment. Let me see if I can find who it was that I got that idea from, because there was it was not all recipes. It was not there. I'm going to have to look for it because I am not finding it right now. Let me see if I find it here. Because sometimes nope, there's nothing there. I'm not finding it. I will have to look for it and give them. This one was from Delish. Recipe. Thank you, Delish. It was as delish as. But the Cubanissimo, this one was from somebody else, and I don't think I saved because it was just, I just looked it up, what's in a Cubanissimo, and I didn't really actually save the recipe. I just kind of put Swiss cheese in there, put pulled pork, put ham, put mayo, put mustard, put pickles. So I just remembered what was in it. I didn't actually follow any instructions. I just put it together. What I did do for this one, which I think gave it a little bit of extra flavor, I used the same pan where I had sauteed my onions. There was still a little bit of olive oil left, and of course the flavor of the onions. So I put it in there, and then I was holding it down. Then I flipped it, and I added a plate to give it a little bit of weight. So making this where I made my sauteed onions, I think gave it a little bit of extra flavor.
Okay.
So this added to the deliciousness of this one. And then, of course, these shrimp are absolutely delicious. It's almost like a scampi. But it was absolutely yum, yum. but I love filet mignon shrimp as it is. So this is.
I'm going to go into pulled pork a little bit now. I have made pulled pork for many different things. Right. The fact that I've got this, the smoker and I'll be cooking stuff. I've actually used my rub for my ribs and put on a pork loin once and just did a pork loin with the, just like I would cook the ribs in there. And then I basically peeled it apart and made it a pulled pork. I know that's not the ideal recipe, but I can buy a pork loin smaller that I can buy a whole, pork butt or something to do it with. I did a pork butt one time, and that was the longest cook I think I ever did. I started at like 8 in the morning, and I think I finished up somewhere around 10:30, 11 o'clock at night.
Wow.
That was it's one of the reasons why I've never done a brisket in my smoker, because that's a large job. All right. And it's my smoker. I'd have to get up every 2 hours to check to add wood. But I have done, and the reason I come up with the way of doing the pork ribs on the pork loin like that was long before we had a smoker, I had these rubs that I would put onto them, and I would cook ribs in the slow cooker. Just put some rub onto them, stick them in the slow cooker, turn it on slow, and let it sit all day long. Well, inside that slow cooker, that would make them so moist that you could just twist and pull the bones right out. And now you just chop the meat up and you've got pulled pork. Right?
Nice.
That always made me think, well, what can I do? How can I do this?
There's so much you can do with ham, y'all.
Yeah.
You can make a quiche with it, like a breakfast. It's going back to breakfast. You can make a quiche that would be a breakfast quiche, in my opinion. Quiche for me is breakfast, not dinner. But if you want to have breakfast for dinner, I think that would be a good one. Fried ham and cheese mozzarella sticks. You can deep fry those with a little sauce. A chopped sandwich. So essentially, you get your ham, you chop it up, you get your lettuce. You make it almost Italian flavor. So you chop everything else, you shake it all about, you do the hokey pokey, and then you put it into a roll, and now you have a sandwich.
Yeah.
A croquette, where they're the little cups that you put cheese and ham in there. Oh, little bites. How about some spinach puffs? Spinach and ham. I think that would be delicious. A Monte Cristo roll. So instead of a sandwich, you can have a roll. So a little bit of sweet, a little bit of savory.
Yeah.
Ham salad. And then Italian subs. So that'll be kind of along the lines of something like that, only you're going to be using regular bread instead of the Hawaiian rolls. Potato croquettes with ham in there.
Yeah.
And like you would have a ham sandwich with all the fixins. Ham and cheese.
Or chop all your ham up and put it into a nice split pea soup.
Oh, yes. Absolutely. With the ham hock in there, throw it in there.
Oh yeah, because you think about that. You think ham and it tastes good in split pea soup. Add a smoked ham to that baby.
Oh,
that really messed with you on taste, baby.
Ham and cheese brunch bake.
Yeah.
Some beans and rice with ham in it. Oh yeah. How about a creamy ham and potato soup?
I've not done that.
I think like the soup that we made, the one that had the potatoes and the sausage. We can substitute it for ham instead of the sausage. Absolutely. Why not? Then you can also make some egg rolls with, some ham in there. Scalloped potatoes and ham. Oh, that would be, I love scalloped potatoes. I think a little bit of ham would make it even better. A chef salad with your ham. Make a chef salad with that. You got your ham, you got your turkey, you got your tomatoes, your cucumbers, your cheese, and your egg. I think that would be delicious. Absolutely.
So, to me, the biggest thing that you can do, that you can tweak any ham dish, is add an egg.
Yes. Oh.
I mean, and it doesn't matter how you do it. You think about it. You can do, a great eggs Benedict. You can do just a set of scrambled eggs. You can do an egg over easy or a poached egg. I mean, all of this. You can do an omelet. Put it in with an omelet. It just goes so. In every ham dish you got, you can throw an egg with it. I'm not always doing that with a steak dish. I'm not always doing that with a pork chop.
Right, but with the ham, absolutely.
Yeah.
Then you can also do a chicken cordon bleu. That has ham in it.
Oh yeah.
And then a muffaletta. So if you're in the South, make a muffaletta with that fresh ham. Oh my goodness, that would be absolutely delicious. Some ham and cheese pinwheels. Oh my goodness. I was thinking that you can also use it for when you do a charcuterie board and add some of the fresh ham. A Monte Cristo sandwich.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah. So if you do an open-faced sandwich, like you do your ham, but then you add that egg on top, like a poached egg, and then I think that would be delicious. Absolutely. There's so many things that you can do: sandwiches, soups, breakfast, anything with cheese, anything with egg. It's gonna be good.
Well, this is the advantage too. Like we did, we cook the ham, so we have it for dinner on Easter Day. But then we have leftovers at the ham. Ham is the best thing I love in leftovers.
Okay.
It is my best leftover meat. I really will sit and eat ham with a million. I have a million combinations I will have with ham that I'm not necessarily having with a steak or a brisket or that's left over.
Yeah. And another thing that I do that I love to do that I don't do enough with ham, I've done it with prosciutto and I've done it with bacon, is wrapped the asparagus. Why not wrap it in ham?
I've not done with a wrapped in ham. We had with prosciutto yesterday, as part of our thing. I had it with we had it with bacon. Remember last week I had it with last week I had it with bacon. So yeah. Anyway. So interesting things you can do with leftover ham, and that was the whole idea behind today's episode. And just find a good wine to go with it. I personally am going to say I didn't have it tonight, but I probably would rather have my sparkling with it. I tried it with a red, didn't click in as much as I thought it would.
I almost went sparkling. I was gonna want to make a French 75.
Yeah,
was my thought, but because I have gin here and I figured I had a sparkling. I'm sure I do, but I hadn't chilled it, and I didn't remember the lemon. I have lime. I don't have lemon. A French 75 is with lemon, and you need to do that. The lemon peel, because that's part of it. You express the oils. Oh, that makes it just that much better. So, I'm glad I went with this Rosé Pinot Noir.
Well, originally, when we originally laid this out, we thought beer. I'm glad we didn't go beer, because I don't know if I'd want to have beer with this tonight.
Yeah, you know what? No, I think the wine went well.
I think the wine was a better choice.
Absolutely. And it's all about, what do you all enjoy? If you're having a sandwich, maybe a beer. Yeah, because you're making yourself a sandwich, you put some chips in there, some fries, and a beer, that goes. But with what we did, the wine goes better.
Yeah. So, but I'd love to hear what you guys did with if you had a ham, what you did with it. Saturday I went to have burgers at a burger place, which basically had a pretzel bun, and I had a beer with it. Right. I'm not sure that I would have enjoyed a beer with yesterday's dinner. We had sparkling. I think I've opened one of no, this was the Brut from our Messina Hoff, which is the winery we have here in town that we go to. So
I do prefer Brut. I really do. That drier, not as sweet. Absolutely, I prefer it. Yeah. That's my favorite, or my preferred sparkling is a Brut. But yeah, there is a Deschutes here in Portland. They're local. I remember I have a picture with my mama when we were very new to Oregon, and I took her there because there was a stroll in the whole area. So you got to taste all the different foods and drinks from, it was in the Pearl. And we had a beer cheese dip with a pretzel that was like this big. So it was one pretzel, and we just tore it and, got into the cheese dip with the beer. That was delicious, but there was beer in the cheese.
Yes.
and then they used the beer somehow on the pretzel. I don't know how they did that, but everything, maybe it could have been to leaven it. I'm not sure, but it went so well. I was like, oh, this is yummy, because I normally wouldn't have had that combination, but I really enjoyed it. So that was the shoes. That was 2012, I think it was.
Yeah.
It's been a while. It's been a while.
Downtown Fort Worth here, we have a beer place called Flying Saucer, which is a couple of them here in the area. And Flying Saucer has that that pretzel with beer and cheese, beer pretzel with cheese, mustard. I think they have some other sauce that goes with it, but it's usually the mustard and the cheese that you're dipping it in. And of course, because it's a beer place that has 170 some odd taps,
Ooh,
you're having it with beer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And each time you go, you can try a different beer. And the thing is that not all beers are going to go with it.
Well, that's the other thing too, is sometimes the beer they have there is not the same. Every time you go there, there's a different beer because they run out and they replace it with somebody else's brand. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's a revolving house of beers. Yeah.
That's what makes it fun. Yeah. You never know what you're going to get.
Yeah.
But I absolutely like this Pinot Noir Rosé. I enjoyed it.
How did it air out with that glass? I'll bet it aired out a lot better with that glass than
glass. It doesn't, because it doesn't stay. It's got this little divot right there, so it just kind of
that little dipple, which I actually seen on Amazon. It had a stronger dipple, but they were for whiskeys and bourbons. Mm. That was a lot stronger point to the bottom of it.
Oh, okay.
That made it really tilt.
And I have put whiskey in this, but I usually like my big cube with my whiskey glass. This one, I see it more for wine. And today I thought, you know what? This seems like the appropriate time to use this glass. I don't use it as much. It's very dainty. It's very, it's very light, but it's got a nice sound.
I know. That's my glass I have tonight.
I love it when they sing, when you do the start singing. Fun. The little things that I get a kick out of. But try your ham different ways. A lot of people just see ham and they think ham and eggs, or maybe a ham sandwich. There's a lot you can do with ham. There's more like cheese. You can make a mac and cheese and throw ham in there.
You could make a toasted cheese sandwich and have ham with it.
Yes.
Just saying, there's all things you can do with the ham.
Yeah, ham is like, bacon is number one. Ham is like number two.
Yeah.
And then you got sauce. Well,
sauce. Wait a minute. But there's things that you can do with ham that you can't do with bacon. Would you agree with that?
I'm sure, yes. I would have put bacon in my split pea soup. That's ham.
Yes, I would have, but
maybe on top. Maybe some crumbled ham on top.
I would not have just a bacon sandwich. I would have just a ham sandwich.
Oh, I've had just a bacon sandwich. So I will tell you, when I was in high school and I was working at the restaurant, they would get a corn tortilla, but it was the yellow, not the white corn. They would just put the edge in the oil and they would heat it up, on the grill. So it's got all the little bacon bits. They throw a couple of slices of bacon, wrap it up, and give it to me. Oh my goodness, that was absolutely drooling. So a tortilla with 2 slices of bacon, absolutely delicious. Yeah. So it's not a sandwich, but it definitely was a tortilla. And I have done where I've put bacon in between 2 slices of bread with tomato and no lettuce.
No, I've got to have the lettuce, tomato, bacon. All right. And I would have that with mayo. I don't know. I've never tried to do it with ham, lettuce, tomato.
Oh, absolutely. I've done that.
I've not tried it that way, but I should with mayo. Like I would normally have a sandwich, just have it with ham instead of bacon.
Oh yeah. Or throw also, oh my goodness, one of the best ham and egg sandwiches was at Jim's in East LA. My mom used to work down the street from this restaurant. Mm-hmm. And he would use a thicker cut of ham with an egg in there, cooked perfectly, lettuce, tomatoes, mayo, and he'd cut it. It was the most delicious ham and egg sandwich. I don't think I've had another ham and egg sandwich as good as that one at Jim's.
Okay.
I've had other ham and egg sandwiches, but usually they make the ham like really thinly sliced. And I like that he had that thicker slice. Oh my goodness. That was Saturday morning, splitting a sandwich with my mama. She'd have coffee. I'd drink whatever, I don't know, juice, probably orange juice back then.
You health nut, you.
My mama was the one. Well, my mama, who used to put decaf Taster's Choice in my milk when I was like still with the bottle, she would put a little bit of coffee in there so it would give it a flavor so that I would drink it. So my mama was the inventor of the latte because she would warm up the milk, throw in a little bit of decaf, shake it up, and give it to me. So I had lattes way before a latte was a latte.
That's right. So
thank you, Mama.
Yeah, gotta love it. So
Yep.
well, anyway, it's been a good episode. All right, ham, leftover ham. All right, pairings with wine. So
Yep.
million things you can do with hams. All right, we'd love to hear your stories. Write us back. Tell us what you do with your ham after and the combinations that you make with yours. What do you think? Sound good?
Yep, I love it. I'm going to get a little bit of more wine in there because I pretty much ran out. So I'm going to just do a refresher. So as we end with a nice little toast there.
We're going to end with a nice little toast. But before we go, all right, our businesses, Gladys and I's business pays the bills around here. So we do a real quick commercial for each one of our businesses. I think I'm going to do the commercial spots tonight. You want to do them?
Perfect. Absolutely.
Right.
You're different.
Here
Shake
we
it
go.
up.
Welcome to Insurance by Design, the expert in crafting tailored employee benefits packages working with both your English and Spanish-speaking staff. Led by the acclaimed Gladys Boutwell, we're licensed to serve you in Oregon and Washington. Gladys brings a wealth of expertise with an MBA in international business and leadership and is a certified insurance counselor. Honored for her contributions to Latino equity in Oregon, Gladys is also a best-selling author. Her book, Health Insurance Secrets Revealed, is revolutionizing how we understand insurance. With bilingual prowess, Gladys enhances communication, making insurance smoother and easier for all your employees. Is your website attracting the traffic and engagement it deserves? At SimpleEasyWebsites.com, we specialize in transforming ordinary websites into extraordinary experiences. Our experts know what it takes to make your online presence stand out and succeed. Gain valuable insights and tailored strategies with our professional website review. Don't let your website be just another page in the digital world. Visit SimpleEasyWebsites.com now and book your consultation today.
All right, so there's our little quick commercials. Other than that, go to our page, likethewayyoudrink.com. Come join us on our VIP Inner Circle program. All right, well, we will actually go out and become part of an insiders group where we do tastings and stuff with you. Other than that, Gladys, you got anything to add tonight before we go?
I do. I have one shout out. I can't wait. So I had friends that moved on Saturday, and I thought, you know what, there's going to be a lot of friends coming together to help them move. And so I thought, why not get some coffee and some bear paws or bear claws from the Black Bear Diner. Had it ordered. They knew it was coming. They said, whatever time I know, I'm going to have it ready for you. So I picked it up, and I did see a little card in there. I didn't think anything of it. And as I'm pulling everything out when I got to the house, of course, there was a little card with a thank you from the Black Bear Diner staff.
Black Bear Diner, good people, I'll tell you.
And then I got the baby burn sauce.
Oh, baby.
So this is the mild one. There's also the mama burn and the bear and the papa bear burn. And then they sliced up all the paws really beautifully. They put them in the container. They have the little claws. They for the coffee, they had the mugs. They had the napkins, the creamer. They had everything that was needed. And then at the top, they put my name and said thank you. You know, so they are so much about thanking those that are doing catering for. They appreciate it. They really there's a lot of good food they have, but I was like, I wanted to keep it simple, but the little added touches, I thought that was just like super sweet. And I'm like, I got to thank the Black Bear Diner. They always take care of me. They're all about community. So burn, baby, burn. Right?
Robert and his pulling his disco age off there.
Yeah, you know what?
Disco side.
I love it. But so Black Bear, thank you so very much. I appreciate y'all. You take care of me.
I'm looking forward to coming visiting your Black Bear Diner up there one of these days. All right, because they do such good things for you. So and they've done a couple good things for our show more than once. Appreciate that.
Yes, absolutely.
So, all right, well, ladies and gentlemen, we will be back next week with another fun episode. As you do, we'll go enjoy some ham this week, enjoy some good wine, and spend some time this spring's coming up with some good friends. Other than that, we will see you guys next week. Cheers.
Cheers, y'all.